Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zang here, and today I am back with the third episode of Road to Rank. We're actually going to find our first opponent, Sir Weavile from Spain, right away. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun doing Road to Ranked. Obviously, this is just the third episode, but if you haven't seen the first two episodes, definitely check it out. Really liking the Trick Room team I'm using, but I'm probably going to make some small adjustments here and there. And of course, this team was kind of featured in the Team Builder video, which I made a couple of days ago, so also check that out if you've not seen it already. Unfortunately, I am still a little bit ill right now, and I'm trying to get over that, so I haven't been able to push out as much content as possible, but I'm still doing my best to at least get one episode of Road to Ranked out per day, and then hopefully I can get more stuff out when I feel a little bit better. So, do want to apologize for that. December is going to be a super busy month as well, but I really want to push content to a place that's never been before on my channel. So, thank you to everyone who supported me. If you do enjoy Road to Ranked, please share support by leaving a like in the video, and welcome to all the new subscribers who might be new to this channel. So, my opponent here is rocking a team of Oranguru, Crocodile, Alolan Marowak, Tapu Koko, Celestia, and Gyarados. So, a relatively standard-looking team, nothing too surprising there. And obviously, Torkoal takes advantage of the Trick Room. So, if my opponent decides to go for a Trick Room of his own, that's not too big of a concern. So, I might actually just go with, Torkoal and Lilligant as a lead here, because it's super aggro, and it can do a lot of damage right from the start. And I do like Salamence for the Intimidate here, especially because I've got Fire-type attacks, and that can also just nuke Celestia, but also, Gyarados, Crocodile, etc. And for the last one, I'm actually thinking Tapu Lele, which was our MVP of the second game of yesterday's episode. Tapu Lele is just really, really nice, especially when you've got leftovers and grassy terrain, because you continuously heal back, and with Horn Leech, it just is able to heal back so much even after taking some damage. And my opponent's Gyarados yesterday really struggled a lot, so kind of similar team composition, and there are a lot of Pokemon that can't do too much to my Tapu Lele. So, not going to go with the Trick Room option, instead going to go with the fast Torkoal Lilligant option. We'll see what my opponent has. It's going to be Tapu Koko and Crocodile, which I would think is pretty good for me because I can go straight for an Eruption and an After You. Decent chance, maybe one's Focus Sash or one's Choice Scarf, but Lilligant should be faster here. Intimidate's not going to matter at all. And actually, given that we see the Electric Terrain first, I believe it's on the same counter as all the other abilities, meaning Crocodile should be slower, so I'm guessing it's not Scarf. But I know I can take an Earthquake anyway, and, you have to be pretty bulky to survive an Eruption, especially boosted by the Sun and Charcoal. So, pretty safe and free opportunity to After You Eruption here. And that's going to be able to do a lot of damage. I don't think my opponent can pick up a KO here. I would think that the Eruption would pick up a knockout on one of the two. The best option for my opponent might be to just protect and switch out, but then Lilligant still threatens with a Sleep Powder. So we'll see what comes in, if anything, or what protects. It is going to be Tapu Koko protecting, so I assume maybe like a Protect and an Earthquake. Crocodile here might most likely be Focus Sashed. If it's not Focus Sash, it is just going to get nuked by this Eruption, though. As I am going to be faster, Eruption is going to go into the Protect, unfortunately. I also can't Sleep Powder any Ground-type Pokemon, or anything that's connected to the ground. And it's actually really tanky. Survives that a little bit better than I thought it would be able to. As he is going to get this Earthquake off. He's going to do a fair amount to the Torkoal. But I am going to be able to survive, at least. But, yeah. Better play from my opponent turn 1. I probably could have just double protected there. But this next turn, I'm just going to go for the Heat Wave and the After You. Yeah, because Crocodile is still in KO range from Hidden Power, so Crocodile protects here. I can just Hidden Power the next turn. It's actually going to switch out, but that's fine with me. It's actually going to be a Marowak coming in, but I don't mind that. Any chip damage on that Marowak is pretty good. But, good play from my opponent turn 1. I don't think this Heat Wave will be able to knock out the Tapu Koko. And it is able to connect at least, which is good. Might be seeing a Discharge come out of the Tapu Koko. It does a lot of damage there, though. Yep, it is going to be a Discharge coming out. So, kind of reminiscent of yesterday's episode. Hopefully no full paralysis here. That would be really bad. Just because Lilligant would get shut down. And we are able to survive. Not much of a surprise there. Tapu Koko's special attack stat isn't the greatest. And it's Life Orb as well, and that's actually really good for me. No full paralysis either, which is perfect. Reason why this is so good for me is because now I can just simply bring in my Salamence, and I can go for a safe Hidden Power Ice onto the Tapu Koko and a Dragon Pulse into the, or maybe I should Draco Meteor that slot. But let's see what my opponent has. I actually forgot the team composition. You can actually check the team now by just pressing Y. So, we've already seen 3 of the Pokemon. There is a Celestia that can switch into Draco Meteor, and Marowak actually took some damage there. So yeah, Dragon Pulse should be a pretty safe knockout, especially with Choice Specs and Modest. So I'm going to go for a pretty safe Hidden Power Dragon Pulse play here. I haven't revealed any attacking move here on Lilligant yet, so it's likely maybe Tapu Koko will protect, Marowak will try to knock out Lilligant, but Dragon Pulse will just come out. Celestia is an okay Pokemon for my opponent to switch in. It is going to be a Protect coming out from Tapu Koko, so could be a double Protect here. My opponent could try to stall out the Sun, but not the case, which is really good. So Dragon Pulse should just be able to knock out the Marowak here, which is very solid. Unless it's bulky enough to take a Specs max special attack Dragon Pulse. Nope, okay, not the case. HP bars move differently in this generation, so I thought like, oh, maybe you could survive there. But that's really good for me, because I still threatened a Hidden Power into the Tapu slot, and with that Life Orb damage he took earlier, there's no way he can survive a Hidden Power, because, you know, Tapu Koko is not exactly the bulkiest of Pokemon. I'm really glad they actually, like, I think all the Tapus are definitely usable. It's actually Gyarados coming out as my opponent's last one. I'm also happy to see that, because, as you remember yesterday, you know, we had a pretty decent time against Gyarados. So, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just go for a... Actually, I do want to think this through fully. Because if I Hidden Power, Tapu Koko switches out. I guess Tapu Bulu could still solo things. Yeah, I want to just switch into Tapu Bulu here. Because I think the best play for my opponent is to switch Koko out into Crocodile to sack it. But then Koko actually feigns from one more turn of Life Orb recoil. Yeah, and then I will get the Intimidate off. And then I think Tapu Bulu can kind of close out the game. So I'm just going to Hidden Power into Koko again. If Koko doesn't switch out, I think I just win the game. Because I'll have the Intimidate and a Tapu Bulu win safely against both of his Pokemon. But yep, opponent does make a good play, does make the switch out here. But if he also targets the Salomon slot as opposed to the Alolan slot, then he wouldn't have gotten anything off. But this is okay because he basically effectively wastes his Intimidates here. I'll get the knockout onto Crocodile. And then we'll really see, because then it could be a 1v1 kind of situation. But he has to knock out Lilligant right now. I think if Lilligant doesn't get knocked out here, I'm pretty much going to win the game, I think. A little bit early to say, but, you know, it's always kind of assessing... VGC is always about assessing kind of the position you're in and the end game. And so basically now I'm guaranteed an Intimidate off against the Gyarados. He is going to go for an Ice Fang. Going to smartly target into a Lilligant. It does confirm he has Ice Fang as well. So that's a little bit scary, but now, of course... Ooh, actually, he'll have the Electric Terrain, which could be bad. But I'm not sure if he can even knock out my Salamence with this Tapu Koko. So that could go in my favor. But my opponent made the best play possible, but I figured even if he made that play, I would still be okay. Tapu Koko won't faint from Life Orb now. But losing the Grassy Terrain definitely hurts a little bit. I should have considered the Terrain Wards a little bit better there, and that's something I'm still getting used to. But no worries. So here I'm going to Draco into Gyarados for sure. If Tapu Koko attacks, he's just going to faint. So might as well just double up into Gyarados, because I'm not outspeeding him anyway. And Gyarados is at -1. And Tapu Koko does protect, which is why I went for the double up. Because it's like, okay, if he attacks, then something just faints. If Draco does get off. I actually miss it. Oh, maybe I should have Dragon Pulsed instead. Oh, he gets the Dragon Dance off. Okay. I don't think it's over yet, especially because he's still at neutral. Okay. Doesn't do as much as I would have liked. I think Stone Edge, let's see. Since there is no Grassy Terrain, Horn Leech is 75 plus Stab. Yeah, so it's Stone Edge I think still knocks out Gyarados here, so I do have to connect with it, but if it hits, then I'm set. But that's an unfortunate miss. I think I should have Dragon Pulsed instead. Oh, he protects here. I think that's fine. It depends on what Tapu Koko goes for. Yep, it's going to be a Dazzling Gleam. I could survive this outright with Salamence. Yeah, we do. Nice. And he's going to... Yeah, he's going to faint from Life Orb. I always get tripped up because, like, it moves extra slowly at the end. So if we connected that Draco last turn, like, the game would have 100% be over. Now it's still possible for my opponent to win, although I'm not sure exactly how likely. Especially because I've got leftovers. I think he needs multiple Ice Fang flinches or a freeze, because here you definitely Ice Fang the Salamence. Or you hope for a miss, I suppose, but he's still a neutral attack. So I could Stone Edge, or I could Horn Leech, or Wood Hammer, actually. Stone Edge still does the most. I would take Recoil from Wood Hammer, so I don't like that option. He's seen that I have Stone Edge as well. So if you're my opponent, you definitely target Mence. You could Ice Fang Tapu Bulu hoping for a miss. I think Horn Leech is the play here. Actually, Stone Edge could just pick up the knockout. 75. Yeah, it's pretty weak, actually. I think a Stone Edge will knock it out, so I'm going to go for it. Even if I miss, I've got Lefty's Recovery. But you definitely have to Ice Fang Mence here. Yep. Okay. I guess I could have relied on the more accurate move, but I'm not sure if 2 Horn Leeches will even knock out. And I do miss the Stone Edge. Okay, man. That's fine. I could have played more optimally here. Like, I should have Dragon Pulsed. And I guess I could have Horn Leech there. I don't know whether he has Citrus. I think he's gonna have Citrus, but I'm gonna go for the the Horn Leeches at this point, because it's likely he'll actually go for a Dragon Dance. Not the case though. Hopefully no Flinch or Freeze, because I can take those relatively well. Okay, no Flinch, no Freeze. Yeah, gonna be a Horn Leech coming out again. That's gonna heal back so much actually, and I've got Leftovers. So this is the scary thing though about being a slower Pokemon, is that you'll attack second, and he doesn't have Citrus Berry. Yeah, so I should have just Horn Leech twice there, I guess, last turn. And the reason why I'm not protecting here is because there's nothing to really stall out, and he could effectively Dragon Dance again, so he's gonna need a Freeze or a Crit here, which would be very unfortunate. No Crit. Okay. Ooh, that was a close one. And I think this game probably demonstrates, like, RNG, like, and how you can play optimally, as we get a critical hit there, actually, to close things off. But, yeah, so, for example, I should have maybe gone for a Dragon Pulse instead of a Draco Meteor. The reason why I went for Draco Meteor, though, was because it was like, okay, if I connected, I just win the game outright. It's likely a Citrus Berry, so you could probably, you know, tank it. So I was like, I'm willing to risk the miss. And because Tapu Koko doesn't get access to Moonblast, you know, it's able to, Salamence is able to just survive a Dazzling Gleam from it, so that was big. And Tapu Koko, because of the Life Orb, you know, it just kind of got knocked out. But those situations are always scary, because it's like, okay, the chances of me winning the game are very high, but if my opponent just gets the RNG he needs, then he'll be able to win the game. So, I definitely could have managed the RNG a little bit better there. I think I should have just been Horn Leeching. But I was scared because I was thinking, okay, so if he has Citrus Berry, Stone Edge could just knock him out outright. If he doesn't have Citrus Berry, then I'm probably fine regardless. But let's say he has Citrus Berry and I Horn Leech, then I probably need to use 2 more Horn Leeches, whereas Stone Edge is just like a KO outright in that range. So it's like, do I want to risk using one attack twice and, you know, missing both times, or just Horn Leeching 3 times? Because then the chances of him freezing or critting are also there. But I don't know. It could have gone both ways. We're going to find Dynamo VGC for our next opponent. Also rocking the Lilligant Torkoal combination, which is very scary. And I think that's an Arachnid. A Tapu Lele, a Rangaroo, and a Formosa. I'm still very bad with all the new pronunciations, excuse me, so I'm gonna have to learn them as I go along. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of going against opposing Torkoal Lilligant combinations, and it's like normally my option is just to lead the same thing and play the mind games, but I feel like people who have seen my Torkoal Lilligant know some sense of what I'm running. I actually ran into a Safety Goggles Torkoal with that combination as well, and that was like an auto loss pretty much, so that was really bad. I suppose Drampa is actually a decent option against that as a lead, though. So I could go like Drampa Lilligant, just because I anticipate him going with his Torkoal Lilligant. It's kind of tempting, honestly. Do I want to do it? Do I want to do it? I don't want to bring a Rangaroo, really. Yeah, I really hate mirror matches. I'm gonna go Drampa Lilligant. With who should I have in the back? I suppose Salamence, and Tapu Bulu is pretty good against Tapu Lele. Like, the nice thing about Tapu Bulu is it actually has an okay matchup against the other Tapus. Against Lele, you kind of have to win the terrain war, because otherwise Psychic attacks are doing a lot of damage. But if you can win the terrain, that's a big deal, and because you can just cycle Horn Leech, Recovery, and Leftovers. But if they also have the Psychic Z move, that's pretty bad. I don't know the damage roll on the Psychic Z move against my Tapu Bulu. I should check that, given my spread. But we actually don't see the lead I was anticipating at all. I thought he was just going to go with Torkoal Lilligant. Not the case. Instead, it's kind of an awkward position here. I could just go for the Sleep Powder, though, onto Pheromosa. Pheromosa. Or Pheromosa. I'm protecting here. The thing is, Pheromosa could also protect, because the protect on Drampa is very obvious. I also could switch out into Salamence, actually. Yeah, actually, I like this option more, because it covers anything my opponent can do. So I'm going to switch into Mence and Sleep Powder... Maybe Arachnid, actually. Let's see. Bug Fighting... I guess if I Sleep Powder the Pheromosa, then it covers all options, though. It's like if he protects, then I get Salamence in safely. He can't do very much. We'll see. I think if you're my opponent, you might protect and go for an attack onto Arachnid, but sometimes their Pheromosas are Choice Scarfed or Banded. So, yeah, this covers my options. Oh, it goes for a Wide Guard, actually. Okay, that's perfectly fine with me. What's it gonna be? Lunge, okay. Into Lilligant, not much of a surprise there. Hopefully Sleep Powder connects, because that would be very good. Gonna decrease my attack, that's fine. Sleep Powder does connect, okay. So, that's a really good turn 1 for me then. Wide Guard, I did not know Arachnid even got that, so that's good. I don't know very much about Arachnid, actually, in general. What do I have in the back? Drampa, Tapu Lele. I guess Tapu Lele is a pretty good Pokemon to switch in. Looking at my opponent, I can't just safely go for a Draco because there is a Tapu Lele threat, which is very scary. And it's really cool you can actually check the typings of everything. That's making me learn this stuff a lot easier. I think the safe play is to go for Flamethrower onto Pheromosa and Sleep Powder. Tapu Lele switch in I think is coming in though, so maybe I should have switched out. But actually I do want my opponent to get the Tapu Lele in first. Okay, it's gonna be, oh what? Oh yeah, okay, so like if you use Wide Guard, then you know it's on the same counter as Protect. I actually missed my Sleep Powder, which is really unfortunate, but better that I get the Flamethrower off, I guess. But yeah, my opponent having basically 1/3 chance. It is going to be Sash Pheromosa, so not much of a surprise there. Definitely unfortunate miss. 1 turn of sleep from Pheromosa. I'm going to go for the Flamethrower onto it again. I would like to eliminate that because that makes Drampa's job a little bit easier, and I'm going to Sleep Powder Arachnid again. I think if I connected there, I would have been in a really good position, but more hinges off whether the Pheromosa wakes up or not. Because yeah, it does wake up. Oh, that's unfortunate. Should have anticipated that, though. Actually, it lunges into a Salamence. That's surprising. Gets a crit there as well, and a decrease on the attack. That one doesn't matter as much. Sleep Powder does connect onto the Arachnid, though, which is nice. But yeah, RNG, not too kind, but that's kind of what happens when you use Sleep Powder, so can't really complain about that. Flamethrower here will be able to pick up the knockout onto Pheromosa, but the real question is whether Tapu Lele is in this match. If Tapu Lele is not in this match, I feel very good already, but if it is, then I'm going to have to play kind of carefully because obviously fairy type attacks are going to do so much to all my Pokemon. And if you have Tapu Lele, I think you bring it in here for sure. So let's see whether it's coming out or not. Yep. So as expected, Tapu Lele will be coming out. But if it doesn't have Dazzling Gleam, then I'm still okay. Because what I want to do here is 100% switch into my Bulu. And now the thing about if it's max speed, it's gonna be a little bit awkward, and I'm gonna go for Sleep Powder. I mean, like if Sleep Powder misses, that's fine. And I know some people who might be watching this, especially if you watch VGC, or you think, oh, it's just so cheap spamming sleep-inducing moves. But obviously, Sleep Powder's a move, and you just saw a miss earlier too. So it's like it very well could miss. If it misses, it's not the end of the world. If it hits though, like, oh, it'll be really good. But yeah, he does have Dazzling Gleam, so I'm not even gonna connect. That's fine. But if it has the Psychic Z move, then I'm in a lot of trouble because I went Double Dragon with this composition. And he wakes up with the Arachnid. Oh boy. That's a Liquidation coming out. That's not going to do anything to Tapu Lele, but I'm very worried about the Coco's item. Because I need to be able to survive long enough. I'm going to bring in Drampa here for sure. Because if I can knock out the Tapu Lele, then I'll be able to just bring in Salamence and kind of go Dragon Pulse everywhere. But because Salamence is choice specs, Tapu Koko can just outspeed and knock it out. So looking at his team comp, his last one's probably, I would guess Torkoal. Maybe Oranguru? Probably not though. It's not going to be a Lilligant, that's for sure. So that means I definitely want Men, so my goal right now is to 100% knock out this Lele. I do want to double protect here, and I think I'm going to do that. Actually, no, this is really scary. So the reason why this is scary is I don't know whether he has the Z move or not, because he might Z move here. And Z moves do attack through protect, but they don't do as much. So double protecting is the safest play. I'm not really fond that I'm doing this, but yeah, timer is a thing, so I'm just going for the safest option. We'll see what he does. But the scary thing is, if he can one-hit knock out Drampa, that's really bad. Because then Salamence would just get knocked out as well. I need Salamence for the late game. He actually just goes for the Wide Guard, okay. So probably protecting from a Hyper Voice. Do we see a Z move here? No, just going for a Dazzling Gleam, actually. Okay. That's really reassuring, actually. Dazzling Gleam's not going to knock out either of my Pokemon. So I think what this means is I can just Wood Hammer and Flamethrower into Tapu Lele. Now he could protect, but I don't think Arachnid can really do too much here. So let's see. Maybe Dazzling Gleam does knock out Drampa, but Wood Hammer itself could just knock out the Tapu Lele. And And he just Dazzling Gleams again. Okay, can I survive with both? Yep, I do. So that's going to give me the +1 special attack as well. Arachnid's probably going to be faster. I am going to get the Wood Hammer off, okay. Do we get a knockout? Oh man, that's so strong. And I survived, but he's going to go for a Leech Life. Yeah, onto Tapu Lele. Healing back not that much, though. So now it's a real question of what the last Pokemon is, honestly. So I went for the Flamethrower because I was like, I'm not sure if I'm going to pick up the knockout there. Okay. So let's see what this last Pokemon is. Yeah, because kind of wish I Draco'd there. But yeah, I think Wood Hammer actually, like, with the grassy terrain, it just, like, kind of demolishes. So we do know the Arachnid's full moveset. My opponent's last Pokemon is going to be that Torkoal. Okay. So, that's reassuring. That's good. That's very good. What does this mean? It means I think a Draco Meteor will knock out that Torkoal. I still got grassy terrain going for me, so Drampa can heal up a little bit. He is intimidated with Arachnid, so perhaps I can even survive an attack there. So here I'm 100% launching a Draco into Torkoal because Arachnid can't do anything to me with Leech Life and Liquidation. And I am going to protect the Drampa. I think the best play for my opponent is to protect Torkoal and attack with Arachnid, but I need the Draco one-hit nuke onto Torkoal, which I'm assuming is a knockout. I'm not even sure. Could survive it, but Drampa's faster. So, let's see. If he doesn't protect you, I just pick up the knockout. That'd be really good. I also want Drampa to heal from the grassy terrain. So, this game is really coming down to the wire, but I think I've got the upper hand. Of course, it does come down to hitting Draco Meteor. It comes down to whether Torkoal can survive, like maybe as a Focus Sash or something crazy like that, and hit in power. The Drampa protects, but it should be faster than Torkoal. Let's see. Yeah. So I figured Torkoal was protecting, but I know that this is relatively safe because Arachnid can't do anything really. So Draco's just going to fall into the protect, and he's going to Leech Life into the Drampa. Yeah, so pretty neutral turn there, but like I said, I cannot get to +2 or -2 special attack before trying to target down the Torkoal. Isn't that what I think I can do, is just go for a Draco onto Torkoal. I actually want a Hyper Voice here. Yeah, I'm going to Hyper Voice, because I don't think Arachnid's going to Wide Guard. If he does Wide Guard, then I think Draco should just knock out Torkoal. He actually does Wide Guard. Oh, man. Okay, well, let's see if Draco will knock out Torkoal. It does connect. Oh, this is really scary, though. Picks up the one-hit knockout, though. Nice. Specs Med's really coming through. And yeah, I really enjoy using Specs Meds because it was one of my signature Pokemon back in 2014. Like Poke Alex and I, we used it at the World Championships that year. Not to say we were the ones who invented it or used it more than anyone, but at Worlds, like pretty much everyone was running Hydreigon. Like 2014 was a very Hydreigon focused format, so it was really cool to use that set. So now, I don't know, we see how bulky this Arachnid is. So I don't think he can knock out Drampa. It could protect, I suppose, but I'm going to go for the Draco. He also could anticipate the protect. So it's going to be -2 Specs Draco coming out from Salamence and Life Orb +1 from the Drampa, which should knock out if it doesn't miss and if it survives this turn. He's going to Leech Life. Can I survive this? Oh, come on! I don't think he knocks out without that crit. There's no way. Well, that was his win condition, though. So I need a critted Draco now to win the game. Ugh. I could have protected there, though. But protecting doesn't do anything, because then you just still Leech Life into that slot and hope for a critical hit. But that's the real heartbreaker. That really sucks. Is there anything I could have done to prevent that? I didn't know the Torkoal's moveset, which is why I was a little bit more concerned. Because Under the Sun, he still does a lot of attacks, damage, especially with the spread attacks. So we'll see if I can get some revenge. If I get a crit Draco Meteor at any point, I win. And he's going to need to Leech Life a fair amount of times. But as of right now, I'm not doing very much at all. Ugh. That feels bad, because I feel like I played the game relatively well. But that's Pokemon for you. I don't mind it, though, because it's like, losses like this, it's like, okay, well, I win the game 15 out of the 16 times that it happens. And with Pokemon, you always kind of just look at ways you can improve your matches. I'm also running out of PP for Draco, so if I don't crit in these next 4 times, I'm toast. But the dream's still alive. I'm gonna hit. Put your hands up. Hope for a crit. Not yet. But he's not healing that much with Leech Life. I don't think I'll knock him out, but he's not doing any damage either. Can I win off struggle, actually? Maybe I can win this game even without a crit. Liquidation will do more now, though. But, wow, this game is really coming down to the water. I could have Dragon Pulse, but I didn't think a Specs Dragon Pulse would knock out Torkoal. No, I don't know why he wasn't protecting earlier, actually. You should be stalling out my PP, yeah. So it's going to come down to struggle, I think. Or I could crit this next one. But I need to crit this one, so... Come on, let's do it, let's do it. I believe in you, Salamence. This game is really coming down to the wire, but such an unfortunate crit. I don't think it knocks out Drampa in that range. But, yeah, what can you do? My opponent had to go for what he had to. Oh, that does an okay amount. And Leech Life's not going to heal anything, so now it's a question of whether I can knock him out with, like, 2 struggles. I don't think I will. Unless he screws up here and doesn't protect for some reason. But he should have been alternating between protects and attacks the entire time to stall out PP. So unless he... Yeah, okay. So now I'm out of PP, which is also a problem. So I'm going to be struggling now. I could crit struggle as well. I wonder if struggle's a 2-hit knockout, because if it is, I actually could win the game. Oh my gosh. If I win this game off struggle, guys, it's the greatest episode ever. Like, hands down. No! Please survive! Please survive! I don't think it's gonna survive. Oh, so close. Well, that's Pokemon for you sometimes. But that was a really good game. Well played to my opponent. And I'm not very disappointed in how I played overall. And, you know, that's what you have to do when you reflect on VGC matches. Like, could you have made better plays? I mean, I could have predicted the Torkoal to protect. And maybe if I did, I'm not sure about the damage or the Draco Meteor calc onto the Drampa. Sorry, onto the Arachnid. And I guess if I protected Drampa that turn, and that could have been big as well, because I would have gotten an extra Draco off. But my opponent, all he had to do was alternate between protects and whatnot. He actually should have been doing that a little bit earlier, because it opened himself more to, like, if struggle crit there in the end or whatever. Like, I got probably 1 or 2 Draco Meteors off that I shouldn't have against it. But definitely the closest game we've had all series. And I thought, because if you Leech Life there, like, struggle just did so much recoil. Like, if I just hung out with a little bit more, we would have been able to close out the game. Because I think another struggle actually would have knocked him out, since Salamance's base attack is pretty darn high. But that was a really fun game. I mean, it's disappointing because we'd be 5-1 with the team if it weren't for that crit. But can't complain too much. And ultimately, you know, all of these episodes is just kind of about a learning lesson. And sometimes you have to respect the RNG, and that's just what happens. So maybe the crit didn't even matter. I actually don't know the damage roll there on Drampa, but I know he was intimidated. And Arachnid, you know, not the highest base attack, but I probably will do a damage calc. But yeah, we'll see about that. If it didn't matter, then, you know, maybe that was the case. Really well played by my opponent. I mean, he did what he had to do. He knew that Drampa was the bigger threat. And overall, yeah, a really, really solid game all in all. And really came down to the wire there. If I got a single crit there, obviously it would have been game over as well, but didn't have that many chances to attack. So, great game to my opponent. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It was super, super fun, especially that second game. And please leave a like on the video if you did enjoy this video and enjoy the series. And I'll see you guys tomorrow with another episode of Road to Rank. Alright, peace.